It's been a very hot summer, another one, but a very short summer in the state of Arizona as football is getting started once again as we are here at the very end of July. And I'm Jared Cohen for pros2preps.com. I'm joined by Jason Jewell, pros2preps.com recruiting insider. And there's been some commitments over the summer, some guys heading into their senior year that have already verbally committed to some Division I schools.
Right now in the state of Arizona, 14 high school prepsters have made their verbal commitment. It doesn't mean they're going to sign in February, but right now they've made the choice on where they want to head to college.
Well, let's get right into it on some of these guys. ASU's Todd Graham, in his first off season as the coach at ASU, he made a splash, said getting the local guys is important, and he made a big splash getting arguably the best player in the state out of Blue Ridge, linebacker Chance Cox.
Getting Chance Cox is a big statement for Todd Graham. The kid is an animal. 6'3", 230 pounds, runs 4.5. Kids that big are not supposed to be that fast. Highly recruited, Notre Dame, USC, anybody you can think of in the Pac-12 was all over Chance, and he made an unofficial visit out to ASU. Todd Graham told him, and Chance committed, and I imagine that he'll be signing with the Sun Devils come February.
Now, there's been a lot of great tight ends that have come out of ASU over the years. Todd Heap, Zach Miller. Well, Graham might have gotten his first of his tenure in landing Grant Martinez out of Notre Dame.
Grant Martinez, my top tight end in the state of Arizona, one of the top tight ends on the entire West Coast. Had his pick of Pac-12 schools. Cal and Utah were also on him. Oregon State was the first school to offer him. But when it came down to it, Grant just wanted to stay at home and committed to Arizona State.
And there's a few other players that ASU landed as well going into their senior year?
Correct. The first commitment of Arizona State's class was Nick Brown, the running back out of Florence. Graham might play him in the slot as well.
Now, we won't leave out U of A. Rich Rod also in his first offseason as coach at the University of Arizona, and they also landed a pretty great linebacker, maybe the second best one behind Chance Cox and DeAndre Miller from Buckeye.
I'm sure Miller would say he's the best linebacker in the state of Arizona, but most of the scouting services, and I have DeAndre ranked number 2 behind Chance. Big commitment for Coach Rodriguez. DeAndre had offers from Arizona, Arizona State, Boise State was getting hard looks by Washington. Not a lot of schools came out to Buckeye. Buckeye's not a hotbed for recruiting talent, but when the schools made their way out there and they saw that this kid is 6'2" and 220 and looks like a grown man, he raked in about 15 offers and decided to commit to U of A, though.
Now, Rich Rod is known for his offense, maybe not so much his defense, so they did make a splash adding a solid slot receiver, Nate Phillips, out of Basha.
Getting Phillips was huge for them. He had 1,200 yards receiving as a junior, and the kid had offers from NAU and Air Force, wasn't getting highly recruited, but Coach Rodriguez felt that he fit in his system. He went down to 7-on-7 tournament, did very well down in Tucson, was offered on the spot and committed about a week later.
And there's a couple other guys from U of A that are locked up commitments?
Yes, U of A received a commitment from Paul Elvira, another receiver out of Marcos Teniza, and from his teammate Maurice Lee, who plays running back at Marcos, but also might play in the slot. Both of those kids are headed down to Tucson.
You've mentioned to yourself before that you only get about 1 quarterback from the state of Arizona going Division I a year. Well, there's already 2 going into their senior years that could be heading Division I. Let's start off one of the best players in the state, Tyler Brugman. He's heading to play for Mike Leach at Washington State.
Huge commitment, and Wazoo fans are very fired up to get Tyler Brugman. They're comparing him to Drew Bledsoe, Mark Rippon, big-time players, that played for the Cougars. Tyler had it down to Arizona State and Washington State, and he was in love with Coach Leach's offense and committed to Washington State.
And another quarterback, he was the first player to commit for this class. Ryan Finley, quarterback from Paradise Valley, he committed to play at Boise State at the Blue Turf.
Now, most people think, hey, why would you want to commit so early? But Finley did his homework. He took two unofficial visits there, camped there twice, knew what he wanted. He committed the day after they offered him.
We don't want to leave out, in the end, the offensive lineman, Jason Jewell's favorite. We got to talk about Patrick Joseph out of Hamilton. He's heading to West Point after this season, going to be playing for Army.
What he did was he really bucked the trend. He had offers from Arizona, from Arizona State. He had BCS offers, and he decided, I'm going to follow my heart, and I'm going to commit to Army. His dad was in the military, his mom was in the military, and his grandfather was in the Air Force, and he decided that this is what I want to do. I want to serve our country, and most other kids wouldn't have made this choice. And it's a very tough choice, especially they got to serve, their commitment after. So it's not an easy choice to pick a school like Army versus, Arizona or Arizona State.
Well, Hamilton, known for their leadership in the trenches, and Patrick Joseph is that leader, going to be heading to West Point next fall. Make sure you stay with us. News and notes from a recruiting standpoint for high school football. We'll bring it to you every week throughout the entire season. For Jason Jewell, I'm Jared Cohen for pros2preps.com.